Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Lee Makwiny, and today on this show we have our first guest, Robert Alai. I want to give him a chance to introduce himself, although you all know that he doesn't need any introduction. Robert Alai, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Robert Alai. I'm a social media strategist, user, digital entrepreneur, politician, agricultural investor, very many things, and also a very good politician.
Welcome, Robert.
Asante sana.
Now, I want to ask you a question which most people on this platform or channel has always asked me. Where is your loyalty?
My loyalty, and the only first party I've ever registered on, is ODM. So my loyalty is on ODM. And it's very unquestionable because the leader of ODM is Raila, and Raila now is the leading presidential contender in the 2022 elections. And my greater loyalty now is on Azimio.
Okay. I hope you guys have now gotten the answer, because the last time I talked about Robert Alai here, some people questioned his loyalty.
Yes.
Now, Robert, are you still running?
I'm still vying for the Nyando parliamentary seat. We just needed to put some things in order, like the nomination, it was not clear. Some people were talking about the consensus, some talking about the direct tickets, and also some people, many aspirants also in ODM and Azimio are saying that they have the ticket in the pocket. So that one is challenging the new aspirants like us, because as we are new politicians, we're just getting into this game for the first time. That is the only challenge, but our love is for ODM is unquestionable. Whether we get the ticket or not, we cannot run away from ODM.
No, you are a highly recognized personality in this country, and most people believe that your contribution in this country, in terms of speaking for the voiceless, can best be served from outside Parliament. Why are you running?
I think Parliament is a very good platform for me to implement some of the things which I've been thinking of, and I cannot implement them when I'm outside. One of the things which it saddens me when people talk to me and send me messages, help us contribute this money to help our father or our mother who has died and is in the mortuary, and the hospital cannot release the body because of not paying the hospital bills. I think that if you introduce a law which outlaws that, but also ensures that the hospitals can recover their money from NHIF, it is very practical. The other thing which saddens me is the life of policemen. When you see policemen committing suicide, it is very saddening. I think that the law should be changed to allow policemen to form unions, labor unions, but under special conditions, that they cannot riot, they cannot picket, they cannot down their tools, and they cannot demonstrate in the street like everybody else, because they are uniform formation and they are armed. So I think we can change all that. The other thing is agriculture. I think we are doing the agriculture in a very manual way, and we can mechanize it and make it better. We can make the rice of Aero and sugarcane of Nyando a very interesting thing for people to pursue. The last thing which I think pushes me so much is on education. I think we can entrench our education and ensure that we empower the young people who are now all relying, the young men and women relying on border as the means of economic empowerment, to now look at the other things like innovations, the creative economy, like you're doing now. When you do content, some people learn programming. I think through the national fiber optic backbone, we can create a proper channel to empower these young people with the skills which can enable them to make money from the internet without much ado. And they can make millions, 500,000 each a month in a very comfortable way. So I think there are better ways of doing these things, and under the leadership of Raila, who is also forward thinking. That's one of the first people I've met who thinks beyond the obvious among the leaders in the country.
Okay. I want to ask you a specific question. Was it on Saturday or Sunday? There was ODM delegates meeting in Kisumu here.
Yes.
And that meeting, from my interpretation, is that it endorsed a lineup. Were you part of that meeting?
I was not part of that meeting, but I was part of it in spirit. And I don't know about the lineup, but what I know, first, I'm somebody who doesn't hide the leanings. And one of the things which I encourage all the aspirants I meet in, especially who come from Kisumu County, is that we have to take Professor Anyang' Nyong'o back. Because Professor Anyang' Nyong'o is somebody who's very meticulous. Even the development in this country can be, can be researched back to him. If you can be traced back to Professor Anyang' Nyong'o when he was the planning minister. And he's somebody who plans and executes things. If you check Kisumu today, you see the markets, the second-hand cloth market, the small market which President Uhuru was supposed to come and open. The Uhuru market is bringing a lot of development. If today you walk in the Kisumu city, you can even jog, you can even walk. There are parts. It looks much better. Today, Kisumu, you see the kind of interest it attracts. I don't think some of these candidates who are running around and claiming to be aspirants even understand the kind of influence they need to have to bring some of these people here. Even Afri cities, to bring Afri cities to Kisumu is not a mean thing. It's not an easy thing. So, in spirit, I endorse to if they went for Professor Anyang' Nyong'o as the aspirant, and I think that they should go there and opposed, because I don't see anybody who is coming close to what he has done. I don't even speak to him. He's very arrogant. But politics is not a beauty contest. I don't have to like Professor Anyang' Nyong'o to love his work. I don't have to like anybody to love his work. This is, you're serving people, you're changing lives. So if I see the good things he is doing, I think that he needs to be given a second chance.
Okay. Now let's go national a bit.
Yes.
What do you think of ODM as a political party and Azimio? Do you think they are prepared for the upcoming elections, or there are certain things which you think are not being done right and they should be done this way, that way, something like that?
First, we have to recognize that ODM is the biggest party in the country now, and being the biggest party, it means that it has some of the most complex challenges in the country. And what I've witnessed is that ODM has not given the aspirants, especially, a very clear path on what they want to do and how they're going to do with the nominations. And this is bringing jitters. I think it affected the registration of voters. I think that the party leader and the party leadership needs to come out and clear that for us. I think the other thing which ODM needs to do is that the ODM leadership, away from the aspirant, who is the presidential aspirant, Raila, needs to ensure that they promote brand ODM. I think at some point Azimio was killing ODM, and ODM was going to remain a very small party, just based in Nyanza and some small part of the country. ODM must still defend its seat in Western Kenya, must defend its seat in Coast, in parts of Turkana and Nyanza as a whole. I think that for Raila to make meaningful changes in his presidency, he needs a very strong party to back him. If you divide this country into small party pockets, then it means that the next president will be a very weak president who is going to be manipulated, will not affect any meaningful change, can be held hostage, and very funny things can be happening there. So I think that as we promote Azimio, we need to first promote ODM. ODM must be our home, because I believe that it can give the insulation and the protection to the president when Raila is sworn in after the August elections. But Azimio as a whole now, I think Azimio is making very great inroads. And you remember that Azimio only became popular in September.
Yes.
Where we are now, I think we are in 6 or 7 months, six months after the start of the Azimio movement. I think Azimio is doing pretty well. And come August, Azimio might be just the party which is controlling more than 70% of the votes in the country. I've seen a lot of interest. I've seen even interest in South Rift today. The presidential aspirant for Azimio has left, has met the Rift Valley leaders from South Rift. It's very interesting because people know that Rift Valley is Ngome William Ruto, but when they came and they gave strong assurance that they're going to back Raila Odinga, then I think it was very interesting, and it means that Azimio is drawing a lot of interest. Remember last year when people were talking, they thought that Raila was done. He was trying to make impact and nobody was buying it. Kumbe, the problem was other things. People are not yet in the election mood, and even now the president has said that ni wakati wa uchaguzi. I think it's going to be a campaign like no other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Robert, let me just add something, because you are in politics and you've really explained Azimio.
Yes.
And I was talking to someone and he had one worry that probably the president is keen on ensuring that Raila Odinga becomes the next president of the Republic of Kenya. That is Mandela's moment.
Yes.
But probably the reason why we are witnessing, like in, you've used the case of Western.
Yeah.
Why, for example, Western Kenya, we have this party, Democratic Action Party of Kenya,
yes,
being given prominence, and
yes,
from the perspective, I mean, from any political lens you look at it, that party is going to give ODM party problems. So someone was telling me that the president wants to give Raila Odinga the presidency, but he wants to weaken him,
yes,
through parliament. What's your take on that? And what should ODM as a party do to ensure that they will control parliament after the election?
And this is why I'm also seeing it the same way, and this is why I say that ODM has to entrench itself. ODM has to assert itself as a party. ODM has to come out boldly and say that we are going to claim our fortes. And it is not going to be a joke, because what we are seeing, even the issue, people have been blaming me for calling out on Oparanya. Yeah. I think Mheshimiwa Oparanya has been a victim of DAPK ODM competitions, and now it seems like he's being pushed to go slow on ODM, yes, so that DAPK can grow in Western Kenya. I think ODM has to go head toe to toe with DAPK in Western Kenya. I don't think that Democratic Alliance Party is an equal to ODM. So ODM must claim first the governorship of Kakamega. We have to claim the Vihiga, Busia. We have to claim all those. And I wish that ODM approached Natembeya earlier on and ensure that Natembeya came in, yeah, as an ODM candidate. I still believe that with strong machinations or strong strategies, we can claim the Bungoma parliamentary seat. We need to go beyond and ensure that ODM remains strong. The strategy of weakening ODM, I think, because ODM was a very strong party. At some point, when ODM was controlling almost half of Nairobi, and the other part, for opposition to have that Nairobi, strong, yes, and Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, controlling the three key capital cities, it was very scary to the government. And it can be scary to any exiting president who can say that, hey, maybe this guy is going to be a president who is very powerful, and if we want him to do some things which he doesn't want to do, he might not do them. So I think for ODM to give Raila support, we must claim this seat. I'm very happy for the last 2 days. I've seen ODM in Mombasa brought back to life, Jana in Kwale, the other day in Kilifi and Tana River. I think that is the ODM I want to see. I want to see ODM everywhere.
Like, and even seen them in almost 3 or 4 places today.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I'm not speaking of this because I am a member of ODM. I believe that even if we were going, if another person was the leading presidential contender, even Ruto, if he wants to be a president, a good president, he needs to assert himself. That's why I don't have a problem with him claiming to want all parties in Central Kenya to fold and everybody to be in UDA, because the president needs a strong foundation for them to operate. But ODM, as we have now, if we let these other small parties take the Ngomeza ODM, I think it's going to give Raila is going to be a weak president and might not implement, so he might disappoint people in the long run. So that's why we have to ensure that ODM maintains all these seats.
Now, before we go, I want you to explain to us. I want you to give us your take on the Sagana meeting. But before that, I know Moses Kuria has been a good friend of yours.
Yes.
I don't know whether you've seen him since he came, but what's your take about Moses Kuria's role in 2022 elections?
I think Moses Kuria was looking very interesting before the president revamped Jubilee and make it very interesting now. Jubilee now looked very unstoppable. When the president called a meeting today and expected a guest maybe 5,000, and more than 30,000 people turned up, you know, even the roads could not be passed into the venue. So I think this is where the small parties, not only Moses Kuria, but even Farmers Party was very interesting. The other party, which was DP, was coming back. PNU of which is yes, Peter Munya, and I think also there's Ubuntu, where in the Governor Nderitu Murithi, and all these other parties. I think they were looking very interesting because Central Kenya didn't have a very good foundation to come and negotiate Raila with. But now, since there's a Red Army which is taking over Central Kenya, it has deflated, and I think that's why Moses Kuria can only eat into UDA, because it's going to compete with the Jubilee in claiming all these seats, which were almost going all to UDA. And I look at a situation where if UDA gets more than 20% of parliamentary seats in Central Kenya, it will be very lucky, because the Jubilee has been revamped. These other small parties are going to ensure that they all come. They entrench themselves, but also ODM or Azimio is going to make a lot of impact there. Yes.
Now let's go to Sagana.
Yes.
What's your take? Do you think it's the end of Ruto, or do you think it's the beginning of Raila Odinga in Central Kenya?
I don't believe that is the end of Ruto, but I believe that it's the president is coming back, and this is some prediction I made in 2020, that with the influence of the president and the resources which the president commands, it is very easy for him to, in one single instance, change the direction of politics of an area, especially the place he was born in, like Central Kenya. So what you have seen today is the president has called a meeting which people expected a lot of salvos on Ruto way. He didn't disappoint, but still he remained presidential, because he didn't call anybody by name, he didn't insult anybody, didn't say anything untoward, which I don't see anything which he can regret there. And like he started, when he started explaining this, he said that nataka kusema kitu hapa yenye naweza kusema everywhere, popote hapa nchini. He can say whatever he said in Central Kenya anywhere. And even when he wanted to change to Kikuyu, he asked for forgiveness. He said that he has to speak to the soul of his people. Yes. And the good thing with President Uhuru is that he speaks the deep Kikuyu, which and they use the proverbs and the syllables and, you know, the sayings, the deep quotes of the Kikuyus, you know, the kiamas, you know, the deep the deep quote, and you know, the president impressed. What I think is that the president has done a lot. In August, you remember I released a video and I asked that the president go to Central Kenya and campaign for Raila Odinga himself. The president didn't go to Central Kenya after that, but he now showed his true intention, yes, which was laying the groundwork for today, for the eventual Sagana 3. And now Sagana 3 has come. Now he has spoken to the soul of his people. He said that you people know what I know. I am the president of this country. Some of the information of which I'm privy to, many of you might not have. So listen to me. Msicheze. And he started that by other, you know, like the Andrew, you know, one of his CS, I think PS, the guy who gave a very long presentation. And that's one of the, if you have been to State House, this is somebody you've seen in State House for a very long time, I think since after 2013. And he gave a lot of explanations of what the president has done, and they gave them in Kikuyu, which was, you know, he was speaking to the soul of his people, you know, and I think that the president did a very good job today. I expected it to just be a rant or something like that, but he spoke to the soul of his people, and he ensured that he entrenched the message that even when people are claiming, telling him to say the name of Raila, he didn't want to say. Akasema, huyo nitamwachia economy. He said he took an economy of 5 trillion from Kibaki, but now he's living a 13 trillion economy. He's had a lot of challenges. Whatever he has done, he has rated himself. He said that looking at the former presidents, he has done better than them. Doesn't mean that he's demeaning them. They also had their challenges and were operating in different times. But he said that the kind of development he has left in the country is beyond anybody's imagination. One of the key things which I think when the president was finishing, he said, huyu mwingine aja koma, you know, aja koma. So wacha tuwache mzee kwanza, ndio akikoma, is not ruling him out, but he said now it's not yet for time for Ruto. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you see Ruto post Sagana?
I think Ruto is going to struggle and is going to struggle a lot to ensure that he recovers, because Central Kenya was his to lose. He was the front runner in Central Kenya. But like the president was advising him that he was campaigning early enough and it was not going to help him, I think now probably is regretting that, because he made a lot of impact, but now the president is reversing all that because he's losing. When you're top, when you're competing against yourself for a very long time, every time now you lose. You are not getting, and that one might be very depressing, because you go, like when you are traveling to Central Kenya recently for rallies, you go to stations where people tell you that, you know, mimi nilikuwa mtu wa Ruto, lakini saizi ni mtu wa baba, because Ruto was the only one campaigning and nobody came to us here, and the only thing we knew about Baba is what we have been told. So there's a chance for you to explain to us what Baba is, what he stands for, what he will do for my farming or my biashara, then we can accept him. I see it as a moment for Raila now also to not go himself. Raila needs to have teams, and you know, like one angle can be led by Mama. The other can be led by the women, you know, the girls, you know, the daughters of Raila. Yeah, the other one can be led with by the young people or the young men going into Central Kenya, explaining themselves, explaining what Raila stands for, because I think the message of Raila has not been rooted enough. I think another 1 or 2 months in Central Kenya can change a lot of things, but also Raila needs not to forget his the former strongholds, you know, the coast, Western Kenya, and so on, and even Northeastern. If we get them right, the good thing with Northeastern is that it's negotiated democracy, so the elders have a lot of influence and might help him. But in all other parts of the country, he has to send teams or go personally and campaign.
So Robert, I think that marks the end of this, unless there's something you want to tell us. But I just want, for the record, everybody to know that I am Makwiny, the brand, because of this man. This man really held my hand in this field. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you so much for that helping hand up to this stage. I know I'm just beginning, and you'll still be there for me. Thank you guys, and maybe he can give you his parting shot.
Asante sana. You know, this is what the encouragement I make, that, you know, in the internet, the internet is the only equalizer here. So if you are in the creative economy, you know, you have skills, you want to do photography, you know, you want to do video, you want to do content, you want to do Twitter, social media, you want to do programming, anything in ICT, you need just to get the right opportunity and also the right space for you to develop some of this. And these are some of the things we'll be pushing in the government of Raila Odinga. And hopefully, if I win the Nyando parliamentary seat, then these are some of the things which I'm going to implement in the sub-county or the constituency, to ensure that the young people are empowered and not everybody is left for border. So thank you so much. I'm very happy to see Makwiny making a lot of impact here in Kisumu and beyond. So asante sana.
Karibu.
Asante sana. Thanks a lot.